Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana Market update video. Today is Monday, the 23rd of September. Hopefully everyone had a good time in both Birmingham as well as Vegas. Saw a lot of really cool pictures and content on Twitter. I hope you all made it home safely and had a great weekend. Meta seemed very diverse, which is always fun. I like to see kind of weird decks make it through. Discard did a little bit better than what I personally like to see. But at the end of the day, happy for everyone who made it. We got another round of 16 golden Mickeys awarded. We then got another round of Cinderellas, another round of Rapunzels, another round of Let It Goes, another round of Dragonfire. So we've got all the full allotment of promos hitting the market here. Obviously not all of them will hit the market. A lot of people will keep them. A lot of people will sell them. But ultimately, more supply pressure on the promos, which is what we're looking for right now. So be on the lookout for that. Like I said, we're kind of getting towards the end of our of the Disney Lorcana Challenge events, and then we kind of need some sort of official statement on: are they done with these cards? Are they going to continue to use them through Continentals and Worlds? What about next year's DLC events? Like, we kind of need some sort of like official statement on that. But overall, another supply influx of the promos coming on the market, which is exciting for someone like myself who can't attend the events but does want to collect the cards. More is better for that case in terms of the price coming down in the short term. So shout out to everyone. Hope you all had a good weekend. And yeah, apart from that, guys, we are starting to see some of the first chapter Enchanted specifically kind of start to dry up a little bit. Anytime these challenge events happen, there's all sort of movement in terms of the meta and people buying the cards that they don't have and trying to kind of get in sync with where the meta is going. So like, if like someone like myself who has the a TCG player store, I was getting orders like every 20 minutes. It seemed like I did 20 orders in total last night that I had to package just from late Saturday and then Sunday alone, of people just as the meta shifts and as these particular decks do good and people realize, hey, I need 4 of this card and 4 of that card. If you're like me and you're very diligent about listing the cards and having a good inventory, days like yesterday or weekends like this weekend can be really good from a sales standpoint. I think I was looking and I'm at 120 sales for the month of September thus far, which is pretty crazy. A lot of money coming back to me in terms of selling singles and then being able to selling playable singles and then being able to move that into some collection goals and things like that I have. So that's really exciting, and I would encourage anyone, if you're like me and you're in this kind of collector space. Obviously I'm playing a lot more than I used to, and I have play sets of a lot of the cards, but I'm still selling any like extras and things like that. I would recommend that, if whether you're a player, you're a collector, whoever you are, if you're sitting on a bunch of extra Lorcana, either reach out to someone like myself to maybe sell some of it off that you don't want to take the time to go through and list. But I would also just encourage you to set up your own TCG player store and sell the cards, and so that way you can kind of get some additional capital kind of coming back in the doors for cards that you're not going to use. It might just sit there and collect dust. There's a lot of players who will pay a premium to kind of get these cards, especially if you're able to supply like a play set of them and you're able to list 4. People will pay for that, and so I've had a ton of success with that. I would highly recommend just taking the time to set up your store if you haven't already. If you're sitting on a ton of extra cards, particularly some of the playable stuff, there's a premium for it. And once again, if you can get it in a play set, even more so. So if anything, today's video, I would just encourage you to set up your TCG player store or reach out to someone like myself if you have some extra cards that you're not really going to list and you're not collecting them because they're not Enchanteds or whatever it is. A lot of money that could be coming back to you in terms of the playable singles. On the sealed front, not a lot has changed, to be completely honest, over the last week or so, and I don't expect much to change on the sealed front in the near future at all, guys. The only thing I'm really expecting, the only thing I'm watching closely is Rise of the Floodborn. Right now, our lowest box is up to 585, or lowest case rather is up to 585, and our lowest individual box for Rise of the Floodborn set 2 is 130, but 140 essentially. This is the box that I think has the most chance to do really good in the short term, because this is once again a box that was not reprinted. We haven't seen these like Amazon restocks or anything like that. We did have the Amazon, or we had the Disney Store sale from a couple weeks ago where a lot of the boxes were bought. but we haven't seen anything in terms of like significant like reprints or restocks or anything like that. So I'm interested to see how this box continues to do in the short term. Think like the next 1 to 2 months. I think it's got the best chance of seeing some price movement. The first chapter just has so much out right now that the price is holding strong at the the 220 mark, 224. If you want to get a box, if you're looking to get it from a verified seller, you're looking at basically 230 for a box. But you can see that the volume has kind of came down a little bit. So we had 15 sold it from the 18th to the 20th. We had, let's see here, 16 sold from the 15th to the 17th, 32 sold for that 3 day chunk of the 12th to the 14th. But overall, it's just, we were seeing like 20 to 30 boxes sell per day pretty consistently with some hiccups here and there. But for the most part, we were seeing some very, very significant sales volume that has started to tail off a little bit. So you can see like on the 22nd for yesterday, there was only, roughly, well, someone did buy 18 boxes for customers. Oh, that was that one listing. Okay, so someone bought 18 boxes. So what is that? Just over 4 cases, 4.5 cases. But someone, apart from that one listing, there's only 10 or so sales in there, but there's just so much available. If you look at the first page here, we've got Peach Cravings with 58 listings at 224. We've got Able Games TCG with 17 boxes for sale. We've got Mufasa with 4. We've got Juan Collectible with 9. There's just a lot that's going to keep the price at this 220 to 230 range, give or take. And then your guess is as good as mine on when we go through that, what that looks like. Now, when you think about it, in the grand scheme of things, this is like a week or two worth of sales volume. If a couple other big players that buy 18 at a time come in, then this can get bought up pretty easily. But I think that we're going to be in this price range for the foreseeable future. So no rush to go out and get your first chapter if you haven't gotten it. But once again, I've said this multiple times. I firmly believe, it's my opinion, that whenever these restocks stop, whenever that is, whether it's a month from now, 6 months from now, whenever that time frame is, whenever we quit seeing them getting listed on Amazon and there's no more first chapter coming from Ravensburger themselves, I think that product's going to just dry up and it's going to escalate in value very, very quickly. There's still a ton of demand for the product. There's still a ton of playable cards. Obviously, it's got the best like Enchanted set in terms of just like from Alt Art 1 to 12. I think it's the best set still to this day. Elsa's getting back up to 1,000. We're starting to see a lot of the individual Enchanteds kind of rise in price as well, and that's going to drive that box price up. Like obviously Elsa sitting at pretty much 1,000 for a near mint copy right now. 990 all in for a near mint copy for the Elsa. You're then, if you go down here, let's filter to the first chapter because we really are starting to see these cards bounce back quite a bit. Elsa back up to 1,000, like I mentioned. Tinkerbell, no cards listed under 300, and there's only 8 total listed. So you have a light plate at 310, you have a near mint at 310, and then apart from there, you've got 4 cards in the 300 range, and then it's up from there. Just a consistently playable card, just a card that's going to do very, very well in the future. I think the artwork's great and it's incredibly playable. So ballers who want to have 4 of it in their deck, or it's needed. Obviously you don't need the enchanted version, but there are a lot of people that like to do that. We have Carefree Surfer Stitch. You can see like when you look at their market prices, $264 for the Tinkerbell, but lowest listing is $305. $777 market price for the Elsa, but lowest listing is a light plate at $950. You look at the Stitch, market price $260, but lowest on the market is $293. For a moderately played, near mints at $300. So once again, these cards are starting to go up quite a bit. You got to think this Stitch was going for $224 just 10 days ago or whatever. Or no, that was a month ago. I apologize. A month ago it was going for $100 less essentially. So these cards are definitely starting to see, you can kind of see like a small uptick to the right. It's still down significantly from all-time highs, but it is starting to dry up. These cards are starting to slowly creep up, and I think that's the trend that you're gonna continue to see. It's just a healthy market cycle, right? It was overpriced at the beginning. We saw this massive retrace, and then now we're starting to slowly creep back out of it. I think just slow and steady up and to the right is going to be the continued trend here, unless we see another just huge restock or reprint of this first chapter come. In that case, then it's going to be another probably halving from here. But we haven't seen any sort of like reprint talks or anything like that from Ravensburger, so no really reason to speculate on that. But overall, the cards are starting to raise in price. We even have Genie and Hades at over $100. Looks like Artful Rogue and Aladdin are still sub 100 when it comes to the first chapter Enchanted price range, and then I believe is Aladdin the lowest right now in terms of market price. Market price of under 100. Yep, lowest Enchanted market is the Aladdin there, which is kind of crazy to me. I think the art's great. I think Aladdin's an iconic IP. That might just be my 90s kid speaking, but I love that card. I think the card's awesome. And we do have Rapunzel, still the legendary, up at 45. Maleficent, Monstrous Dragon creeping back up after Red and Blue did really well. And like I said, that's like if you have a TCG Player store right now, you're seeing a ton of sales from all these different colors, whether it's amber, amethyst, etc. All of these different colors that people play, they start to realize that they don't have cards that they need, and they're going to these TCG Player stores to get them, and then that's given like people like myself a lot of capital to put back into the collecting side of things and getting people their cards. It's also worth noting that I saw a ton of people on Reddit talking about, hey, I just discovered Lorcana, here's my deck, give me your thoughts. The homepage of r/Lorcana is just littered with new people coming to the game, and not even from the TCG space, but just from the Disney IP space. And I think that's from the beginning of this channel, that's something that we've talked about. The reach of this game is unparalleled by any other TCG when it comes to the media IP and how many hands and eyeballs touch this brand on a day-to-day basis. And so it's so exciting. I hope you guys are as excited as I am to just kind of continue to be along on this journey, right? It's not something that's going to the moon overnight, but if you can stay patient, you look at the fundamentals, it's just a really, really exciting time to continue to grow your collection. We've got awesome things like the D23 2024 box. You've got some really cool like Grail collector opportunities in the D23 2022 stuff. You've got these trophy cards. You've got your Enchanteds. There's a lot going on right now that has me personally excited. This weekend, I did a ton of just like inventory on, okay, how many sealed boxes do I have of lists? How many, promos do I have of lists? What does my, collection just look like overall? And that's always really fun for me to do, just to like, kind of touch the cards, remember what I have, enjoy the art, just kind of, set aside some time to really get organized. That's what I did, and I just had an amazing experience with it. It felt good to do. I've been, as you're constantly buying cards like I am, you get just like stacks of stuff that pile up that you're like, all right, I need to set aside like 30 minutes and sort through those. Or if you're like opening packs and you just like set them aside. So this weekend I got really, really cleaned up, and that was really, really fun. I wanted to get everything that I had that needed to be listed during the challenge event, so that way as people are going out looking for these cards, they can find them, and I think that's that was a really beneficial move, because like I said, I've got a lot of sales coming back to me on that, which is nice. And then another just tidbit for anyone who, and maybe I'll do a whole video on like setting up a TCG Player store, like tips and tricks, but if you have like a common or uncommon, just like any random uncommon, if you have this Ariel on human legs, card number 1 from the first chapter, this regular uncommon card, don't just go and list it. The market price might be like 4 cents or something like that. Don't go and list it for 4 cents. Your time is worth more than 4 cents. You're gonna have to pay for the stamp. You're gonna have to, you're gonna have to find the card. You're gonna have to sleeve it. You're gonna have to put it in a top loader. You're gonna have to do all this stuff. Don't just go and list the cards for 4 cents. The lowest that I have any card listed is 15 cents. Whether it's a common or uncommon, like if it's got a market price of like, if there's people selling it for 1 to 2 cents, the lowest I put it at is 15 cents. But I've built up enough of a inventory, I would say, from the first 5 sets where, I mean, every day I'm getting, a $5 or a $10 order of people who are just picking up a play set of commons and uncommons across all these different sets, and I have them sorted to where I can just go in and pick them out so easily. It takes me very little time. But then 15 cents a card, that adds up when someone gets 30 cards and I got a $10 order. you know, that adds up. And so I would just encourage you not to do something that I did when I was first starting my TCG Player store, is I was just like matching the market price or even going below that, which in the beginning to get some reviews, you know, there's something to be said there. But overall, all of my cards are pretty much listed above market price at this point, and they're all doing very, very well. So just a little tidbit there for anyone who's looking to start a TCG Player store. But overall, I think you're starting to see the first chapter start to not really dry up, but the individual singles as the meta shifts and some of these cards become more playable, like the Elsa or the Tinkerbell, the Carefree Surfer Stitch. We're starting to see their prices kind of slowly creep back up and to the right. I think we're going to continue to see that. I think there's some awesome grading opportunities right now in the D23 2024 collection. Like I said, there's some really cool grail opportunities with the 2022 D23 stuff. And overall, it's just a really, really exciting time. There's all sorts of, you know, in terms of like the playable cards, there's huge winners and losers off the back of these tournaments. So you should, if you've got playable cards for sale, like I said, reach out to myself or create a TCG Player store and go through and look at them, whether it's a Maui for $15 that anyone who's playing Ruby needs 4 of, or the Rapunzel gifted with healing, or any of even some of the smaller cards like what has been, there's like the Jafar Dreadnought. I've sold a ton of those. The Magic Broom Illuminary Keeper, sold a ton of those. There's just Let the Storm Rage On. It's a common that's selling for like 60 cents, I think, or something like that. There's just it's just so profitable to go through, take the time to sort your cards, get them all listed, have your inventory out there. It's just a no-brainer in my opinion. So I definitely encourage anyone to go out there and do that. Apart from that, guys, that's really it for today's video. Not too much going on in terms of crazy price movement, just a little bit of first chapter uptick, and then we're pretty much holding steady from there. Maui is honestly kind of bearing the lead. He is holding firm. There was a sale at 283. And that was yesterday. Someone bought a Maui for 283. You have multiple sales in the 230s. 240 range, 248. So Maui lowest listed right now is 270, and then we're a couple sales from 300. So Maui's kind of joining that upper echelon of what I would say are really the collectible cards, with the Elsa, the Tinkerbell, the Carefree Surfer Stitch, the Belle Strange but Special. Would not be surprised if we see Maui jump Belle, and really all of those cards are extremely playable. No, obviously Maui is as well, but Maui, you know, when you keep, I don't know, maybe from an IP perspective, maybe I'm not giving Maui enough credit. Moana's huge, and Moana's a great movie. Maui's obviously an iconic character played by The Rock. There's a lot going for that card. A lot of the cards from the first chapter, right? And so I think that card makes a lot of sense. Now 270 is steep, but I think that card makes a ton of sense. So it's nice to see these cards kind of bounce back a little bit and start to trend up and to the right. But that is what we got for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back with another video soon. Goodbye.